Many people falsely believe the whole slavery story and the need to bring slaves into America from modern-day Africa in order to build it up. But what they fail to realize is that the Americas were already built up. And when the colonizers came in, they actually destroyed our cities and towns and ancient Tartaria. And that's what we're going to get into today. You're also going to see how the Titanic fits into all of this. This video is for those of you who are woke and you decided to take the red pill, climb out of the matrix, and go down the rabbit hole. If you are a blue pill taker, go back to sleep. Go back to La La Land, to the Matrix, and to blissful ignorance. Bye-bye. Red pillars, you know full well that America is the mother, the land of Mu, the land of Mary, the home of ancient Atlantis, ancient Kemet, and the land of Canaan. You also know that America was already inhabited for thousands of years by the copper-colored indigenous people of the Americas. And they were joined by those who are from the continent of Africa, known as Africans. Together, the copper-toned indigenous people of the Americas and the Africans built advanced societies with technology that hasn't even been introduced to our modern societies that we live in today. They didn't just erase Tartaria. 1776 was the year that everything changed. In 1776, the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria. The Rothschild banking empire began its global expansion. The American Revolution broke out, and Tartaria began to disappear from the maps all in the same year.
Coincidence? Tartaria was not a myth. It was a vast, ancient civilization with advanced free energy technology, magnificent architecture using sacred geometry, a harmonious way of living with natural law, and knowledge of the ether. They buried Tartaria, literally, with mud floods, natural disasters, and a fabricated history. Once they buried the old world, they created the new one. The central banks, debt slavery, maritime law, artificial scarcity, and indoctrination through education, all funded by the same families. The Rothschilds didn't just fund empires, they funded restarts and deleted everything that didn't serve the system of control. Tartaria was too free, too advanced, and too powerful. So they turned everything upside down. Free energy became fossil fuel. Truth became a conspiracy, and the spirit became religion.
The Titanic wasn't an accident. It was a targeted hit on the indigenous Moorish nobility. Don't believe me? Go look up Joseph Philippe Lelessier La Roche, a black engineer from the LeConte political dynasty, traveling first class during the Titanic era. The original Jacob Astor, Isidor Straus, and Guggenheim were originally all Moors. But of course, they only show you the pale version. They bleached the history to hide the Moorish tenure of the land. But the bloodline is the Grail. Why'd they do it? Because these titans were against the establishment of the League of Nations and the plan of experts designed to seize world treasuries. Look up Paul Cuff, ship owner and global merchant, before the U.S. even knew what it was. Look up Madam C.J. Walker and Aurelia Walker, controlling millions, property, factories, and social power. Look up Robert Reed Church Sr., black millionaire of the South.
You think we were just slaves off boats? Houseway, I'm showing you the receipts they hid. Black aristocrats in the Titanic era. Families with land, gold, ships, and banks. We weren't begging, we were building empires. That's why the Titanic wasn't just a tragedy, it was a targeted hit. Connect the dots. The truth ain't lost, it's been buried.
They love to say Joseph LaRoche was the only black man on the Titanic, but that's only because they already whitewashed the rest. The original Astors, Guggenheims, Strausses, and LeConte bloodlines were Moors long before their portraits were corrected and their history rewritten. Once America and Europe adopted the bleaching of nobility, any elite family was painted over, literally and legally. So when the Titanic sank, they could safely call LaRoche the only one, because they hid the truth of the others. The whole narrative depends on Moors being erased from high society, because if the world learns black families sat at the top of global finance, diplomacy, and science, the slave story collapses overnight. LaRoche wasn't the only one. He was just the only one they couldn't erase.
This is how ancient Tartaria was destroyed. These people then went into those lands. They subjugated those people. They enslaved those people. They bombed their towns, their homes, destroyed their records of who they are, stole their artifacts, hid their artifacts, destroyed their artifacts, burned them out of their homes, and forbade them to come back to their own homes, flooded their towns, bombed their towns. They destroyed most of the evidence that the ancient pyramids and mound structures, ancient Tartaria even existed. They then proceeded to wipe out the true identity of indigenous peoples that were already there before they colonized. And they made up a false version of history, identity of the indigenous people that the asleep blue pill takers believe in their strong delusional state. Red pillars, we have been fed lies.